IVM.
So Tejas, back in my childhood, in school, you know that thing where they have notebook inspections? Did you guys have notebook inspections?
Notebook inspections?
Yeah.
What age? At what grade?
Oh, technically I think it was supposed to go on till 10th grade.
Rubbish.
Yeah, so we had a thing where every 2 semesters or so, everyone would have to hand in their notebooks.
You obviously mean term, first of all.
Yes, term. Sure, fine.
This is not college level.
We were in CBSE school.
Yes.
So you'd all kind of hand in your notebooks to the teacher, who'd check them. Then they'd all get shipped over to the supervisor or the headmaster, who would then, in theory, look at all the notebooks and just see that you were doing your classwork and homework correctly.
Yes.
But in practice, they would just flip through some randomly and go sure, this looks fine.
Because ain't no one got time for that.
Yeah, but what it would do is force everyone to complete their notebook super neatly. This was also a corrective measure for teachers because they'd look at it and go what? The teacher hasn't been correcting your class books?
Correct. So I remember that we didn't really have a notebook inspection, but yes, something of this manner would happen. Yes.
I suppose it's fairly common.
Yeah, of course. You have to see if the teacher's kind of marking the notes and stuff. Yeah.
But the key was that you had to submit it on the day in time for the teacher to quickly fake correct everything and then ship it in.
Right.
But yeah, I was habitually late on this. So one particular day I didn't hand in my notebook and my teacher was like, what happened? And I was like, well, I was sick. So obviously the entire last 2 weeks I haven't completed my homework. So I can't submit it. And she's like, that's just an excuse. And I said, well, there's excuses and there's not excuses. This is the Geek Bulletin, where we talk about the newses and the not newses of the week or month.
I'm not even sure what to say anymore, but I appreciate it.
This is your fault. You started this.
I did. No, well, you started this. Let's not...
Sorry.
I think we squarely split the blame on this one.
Yeah, okay. How about I started, you ruined it.
I ruined it, and now it's ruined forever.
And I ran with it.
Yeah, I know, my gosh. I took everyone down to my level, and now we're here. Okay.
Oh, well. It's good. We've always been here, let's be honest. You just pointed it out.
Yes, I just wanted to remind you guys who you really are.
Anyway, what's the news, Tejas? What's been spreading, man?
Gee, very bad.
Yeah, I know. This all corona all the time, huh?
Oh, yeah, man. What else is there to talk about? Like when you were saying, oh man, I might have some. What else is worth talking about?
Well, in this climate, you shouldn't be saying, I might have something. That's dangerous. If you have something, stay at home.
I don't know if it was me or you who wrote a song called I've Got Something.
Oh. But that's why I don't play it anymore.
Okay, right.
It's not safe in this climate.
Definitely
It's just not good. Everybody stay at home. Listen to the Geek Food Podcast.
Hey man, we really ought to do something about that. About this staying at home business. Everybody stay at home, it's fine. It's okay. It's something that you've always wanted.
Fresh content to you weekly.
Yes, we will. We will...
Bi-weekly. Is that once every 2 weeks?
Well, I think people use that phrase loosely.
Yeah.
Term, loosely. Or semester, But yeah, let me say that in ICSE, we didn't have any such... we had more school uniform inspections and stuff.
Oh, sure. You have that as well.
Yes.
Was that a daily thing? You have prefects walk by and go
I think it was like once
why are you
a
wearing
week.
sports shoes today? Oh,
And
I got hurt on my leg.
Oh. yeah, I got hurt.
Is this a very school term? I got hurt. Yeah.
He boxed me.
Yeah. I mean, now in our early 20s, we say, I got injured or whatever. But back in our early teens, which was 5-6 years ago.
So what do we say in our early 30s then? When we get to it.
When we get to it, we'll find out. Anyway, about this corona situation, man. Our friend Tom Hanks has it. And his wife, Rita Wilson.
So I just, I found out about that this morning. Very sad. I mean, is this what it's going to take
it's to be expected
for the world
because
to
apparently it's spreading like crazy.
Yes, and I don't think he said that they were in Australia and they were traveling a fair bit, so yeah. And he's in the right demographic to be, a victim of it. I think it was just his response to it was about as appropriate as it can be.
Very Hanksian.
He's Hanks.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I hope this is what it takes for the world to take this
I was
goddamn
actually
thing
reading an
seriously.
article that said, well, maybe this is what will force people to start taking it seriously. And I think,
because it's the great unifier, man. Disease.
Well, it's either someone you know personally or celebrities you know, which will kind of affect you directly when most people consider Hanks their dad.
Yes, this is true. Jishnu certainly does.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's not here today.
Yeah.
He's taking a day.
He's self-isolated.
Yes.
In mourning. But Hanks' actual sons,
yes,
Colin and Chet, both put out statements saying, like, it's all good, don't worry, as you can see from Tom Hanks' statement. Well, Colin said they're in good spirits, as can be expected given the condition they're in, but don't worry about them, they'll be fine. They're getting the best care and everything.
Absolutely.
And Chet said something similar, but he added the phrase, they're not tripping. So like
Chet is the black sheep Hanks, right? Where
dude, I think Tom loves him, dude.
Oh, of course, Tom will love him.
Have you seen Chet talk in patois?
Oh my god!
Yo, big up! This your boy Chet Hayes.
And it's like, and Tom is just like, God.
I think Tom is like just very sweet and supportive about him.
Of course.
I wonder how Colin feels about it. He's just like, man, this dude.
Is his half brother, right? First of all.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I
Colin
didn't
is from
realize
his first.
It's not from Rita?
No.
Ah.
From his first marriage.
Colin is very Tom.
He is Tom.
Like, he's the successor to
For
Tom.
the longest time, I thought he was Tom's younger brother. I swear. I had no idea.
Well,
but
that's also because
him.
Hanks doesn't age.
No, it's also because he had him when he was very young. So I think the age difference also between them is not as much as it would be.
The age difference between Colin and Chet is like some 14, 15 years.
There you go. So
and I'm sure it's like 20 something then for Colin.
Yeah.
So they're like three brothers.
My gosh. Anyway.
I like Colin, man. He's a really
Colin
good actor.
is amazing.
Well. He took a long time to get recognized, I think, possibly because of like family stuff and just like a lot of pressure. Plus, he wanted to do other things.
And also, he was always kind of like the sub for Tom Hanks whenever it comes to voice acting, especially in all the Toy Story video games and the like whatever snippets they would put for straight to DVD and things like that, like special features. It's always Colin Hanks doing Woody's voice, which is insane. And but my favorite Colin Hanks appearance, if I may. Is, if I remember correctly, on a Netflix show which I love called Sugar Rush.
Oh, yes.
Sugar Rush is amazing. It's just about desserts and confectionery. And Colin Hanks is a guest judge in the science fiction themed episode. Because he was on Roswell. Anyway, but they make all these amazing science fiction cakes.
Fiction cakes, huh?
That's not news, but let's move on. So,
well, if we're talking about Colin Hanks' favorite appearances, my favorite movie of his still remains Orange County, which is such a great movie, and he's perfect in it.
With Jay Black?
With Jay Black, where he plays a kid like a really smart kid trying to be a writer who wants to get into college, but Jack Black is his dirtbag brother. Kind of like the movie Onward, which we will be talking about.
Yes, we will be talking
this
about
coming Monday, I believe.
Yes, coming soon.
My favorite guest appearance of his is on Happy Endings, where he plays himself.
Yes! Oh my really gosh! Good. Wow, what a good, good idea. Good. I love that show. Unfortunately, it got cancelled after season 3.
Damn shame.
Yeah.
The creator, David Caspi, is back now with a series called Black Monday.
Yes, you've told me about
the stock market crash. Very interesting. All right.
Speaking of stock markets crashing,
coronavirus. Man, so much. So the movie industry in general has gone through some stuff, huh? Like Amazing Race and Survivor have both suspended production.
The NBA has been cancelled.
Coachella's been cancelled.
Cancelled.
And everything's getting
Champions
cancelled.
League is being played behind closed doors.
Most surprisingly, the release of movies has been postponed, and that's preemptively, I think, purely from
a marketing point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's completely understandable. Let's talk about this.
Bond and Peter Rabbit 2 as of now, I
believe. So, I saw the news about James Bond, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. So they're avoiding the junkets. We're going to push it in November.
Is No Time to Die just a bad title?
Well,
this time?
That's what they said. Now, when you release it in November, it'll just be called Time to Die. Anyway, that's morbid. But having said that, and I was thinking, shit, you know what? What is going to happen to the other big tentpole films? But the moment I had this thought in my brain, the next thing I open YouTube, and there's a new Black Widow trailer out.
Do you think they'll still put it out?
I think so.
Looks like it, right? Because they put out a trailer now.
They wouldn't have done it.
The news is broken.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done it.
It's definitely going to hit their box office collections. But that Black Widow trailer, I really did like it.
Great trailer. We spoke about this. Great music, great action. Everything is good about it. I have a feeling. I mean, I don't know if they're doing this because they know that everyone's going to back out, and the one movie maybe that people will still venture out for is a Marvel movie.
Maybe.
And that'll mean box office
as
collection.
As a responsibility thing, maybe they shouldn't.
I mean, they're looking at it as a marketing strategy, I think, because, I mean, anyone in their right mind would be like, hey, this is probably not great, But I think locally, I think if people go to theaters and they're safe and they wash their hands, I don't think that there's a... I mean, we're still here. We're at an office. We're going out.
Well, our country hasn't seen much of a breakout yet. But in Italy, for example, they've suspended all the screenings of anything ever.
Yeah, I mean, that nation has been shut down.
Exactly. And if other nations get to that stage, we might reach the point where... like, we went for a movie the other day, and the theater was deserted. Yeah. That might also be because we were watching an animated movie at 9 in the evening. At an IMAX. That was probably a factor. It probably wouldn't have been packed anyway. But I suspect Corona has got something to do with it.
I think so too. And I think, man... You know what's really full of old men? Yeah. And in Italy, the Vatican. Mm-hmm. This is really kind of like, this could be potentially devastating. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. All right.
You gotta protect the Pope.
Gotta protect the
Pope. Have you noticed how much Pope content there is nowadays?
That's because Pope be cool. Pope's cool.
Okay, so there was the young Pope, which was Jude Law.
Correct.
Then the second season of it, which became the new Pope, where John Malkovich became the new Pope because the young Pope was in a coma.
Are they doing the young Pope is the Borgia? I don't know. Which Pope are they focusing on?
This is a fictional Pope.
Oh.
So the young Pope was Jude Law coming in as this like really young guy who happens to get elected Pope.
Okay, cool.
And he's he's a bit of a rebel, sexy Pope.
Yeah, of course. Jude Law exudes sexiness wherever he goes.
Exactly.
Men, women, anything.
I think sexy. It's really good casting because that became a major factor in how he portrayed the role as well.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the first season, spoiler alert, let's just say he ends up in a coma. All right. And there's a new Pope that's needed. Hence, season 2, the new Pope.
Nice.
Featuring John Malkovich. And Jude Law still around in a coma.
Okay.
And he makes a recovery in the season.
Nice. Are you watching this show?
I have not watched the second season. I've watched a bit of the first. There was also the 2 popes.
Yes, the 2 popes.
Lots of pope stuff.
Lots of popes. Popes are in.
Popes are so hot right now.
Popes are hot right now. The other thing is, what was I gonna... Jesus Christ. I was gonna say something about... there's another show which I've been recommended to watch, made by our boy Damon Lindelof, called The Leftovers, which is kind of like oddly for the times right now, because what they've been speaking about coronavirus being like 2% mortality rate and all that jazz. That show is about how 2% of the world's just 2% of the world's population just disappears,
and that just hits people.
And the ramifications of just that. So it's kind of odd that we're in a time which is very similar to what
Did
that
Damon
could be
Lindelof predict the future?
Oh no.
Are we all in purgatory like the end of
like
Lost?
Lost, yeah. Who's to say? But does it feel like the end times?
Oh, it has for like 15, 16 years.
No, like seriously, like
it's this is
like the earth correcting itself, saying, you know what, okay.
Enough, chalo, done.
I'm okay,
You guys
man.
had your run.
I just wanted to, I mean, I don't want to point out the irony of me releasing an album called Outlast, but I really just want to release it before we check out from here.
What if it's the last album I ever released?
I'm okay with that.
Amazing.
I'm okay with that. Historically speaking, that would be great for me.
The aliens will land one day, or the engineers will.
The engineers. The engineers were here prior to us.
And then
they come back to check and say, hey, one second, I left you guys on the stove for like 2 minutes.
I leave you guys for a couple billion years, and holy crap, what happened?
Oh,
Jesus. They'll be so disappointed in us?
No, they'll be like, no, I have a feeling they'll be like, okay, cool. We just set out to create a humanity, and they'll come back and nothing's there, and they'll be like, oh, I think I forgot to add something, or just like, well, did I not like start the microwave, or I don't know, whatever. What
if they get super into human pop culture and just go like, man, this movie Prometheus, it's
so
about
good.
people like us.
So good.
And this album Outlast, releasing soon on all platforms.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh well, this is a dark one, huh? But we don't really know what to do with this entire situation.
I think the idea is I think we can be good about it, and just maybe this is what the earth is going through. It's going to be remembered forever when for 2 years everybody stayed in.
Well, it's not that different from how a lot of people live their lives, I suppose.
A lot of millennials.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's my point, right? Like, I think we overstate how much, like, I'm so antisocial, I'm so introverted. I think that's a little rubbish, because people love going out, and people still like to go out and eat
everybody,
food.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying even the introverts, like, they still go for movies.
I think people
out
confuse social interaction with, like, interacting with the human world. Like, you could be introverted and still be super exposed to this virus.
Exactly. My point is that you're still going out, you're still going to work, you're still
doing this. You can be an introvert and be, like, a filthy animal.
I know many.
Yeah.
I know many of them.
Wow.
But here's
talk like that to my face? How do you talk behind my back?
Listen, all I'm trying to say here is that this could be an iconic moment in our lifetime, and will forever change the way we
I think it's a big
ourselves.
one. Yes, it's definitely having an impact.
Yeah, it's like
and
do you think it's over? Like, do you think the paranoia is like way too much? Like, as in, like, maybe this is not as big a deal, but we really ought to be kind of austere in our.
I think as of now, it's safe to say the paranoia is a little much, but yes, obviously everyone should be careful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it when SARS and all that stuff happened. There was not that much internet,
they contained
right?
SARS.
Yeah, but that was way more fatal, but way harder to contract. I think that was what
it was a little harder to contract. Plus, they got in early and managed to contain the epidemic, which they failed to do this time. It just spread way too quickly for anybody to catch it in time. Yeah. So it was restricted to a few countries, and those countries managed to shut down effectively. Yeah. And I mean, SARS still exists as a disease. It's just that we can fight it better now.
Yeah, and also they developed better vaccines and treatments for it.
We've got 18 months to that.
All right. No, and before it mutates in the West, because their immune system is different from the rest of the world. And, yeah. So, well, that's good. I'll tell you what you can do while you're sitting at home. Yeah. Play the game Pandemic. Excellent co-op game, or board game, which is about fighting a number of viruses. Is there a plural for that?
Viri.
All right. I just didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's viruses.
It's viruses, so... viruses. I have no idea. No, but yeah, you can play that game and watch the movie Contagion.
Two great pop culture recommendations.
Yeah, sure.
You can do this indoors. Pandemic, you'll have to play with other people though.
Yeah, and that's the best part. You're not playing against each other.
It's a cooperative board game.
Yes, you're playing against the board.
Contagion, you can watch all by your lonesome and in your filthy house.
Oh God,
you introverts! God damn y'all! All right. Well, enjoy yourselves. Don't get sick. Wash your hands and all that stuff. Yeah. This has been the Geek Food Bulletin.
This is the amazing story of something awesome. Once, Chuck decided to start a podcast. And so he did. The end. Okay, that was a crappy story. But I've got some really cool stories over at my new show, The Origin of Things. On this podcast, I look at the stories of how brands came into being and sometimes evolved out of quite unexpected circumstances. And to make it really fun, I reveal the name of the brand and sometimes a category only at the very end. The show is 5 to 7 minutes per episode and perfect for trivia junkies and brand nerds, especially those with short attention spans. New episodes out every Wednesday on IVM Podcasts app or website, or any podcast app or site that you happen to prefer. End of story. They lived happily ever after.
How many times have you caught yourself Googling stuff on health and wondering if it's the right information? How many times have you heard different health experts give opposing views, which has only left you confused? There are rising cases of cancer, heart, diabetes, stress, and autoimmune diseases. Meet the patients and the experts who paved the path of true healing. Join me, Rachna Chachi, cancer nutrition coach and nutritional therapist on Heal and Hearty. I take you through my own journey of recovery from an incurable disease and the journey of so many others who healed only via nutrition and holistic healing. Find the answers you seek for what's good for your health and what's good for your soul. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. Don't forget your date with good health.